Welcome to Arcade Audio.
Welcome to Dilettante Ball. I'm Johnny.
I'm Spencer.
Here on Dilettante Ball, we go on Wikipedia.
We click random article.
And we talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
All from sunny, beautiful Glen, Michigan.
We're
That's
back.
right. We're back again, baby. Memorial Day weekend. Just grilling and chilling all weekend long.
This time we're on the porch, so you won't be bothered by any bumblebees.
That is true. Well, we were on the back porch the last two times. This time we're in a front sort of sunroom.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Can you tell how beautiful it is?
I can. And for the listeners, to paint a picture, the room smells exactly like my first car, 1978 Volkswagen bus.
Except this room has a creepy marionette in it.
It is very creepy. We should take a picture.
All right, yeah,
that
sure.
can be like that'll be the picture for this episode. It's
cool. I love that.
Maybe both episodes. Just that creepy marionette.
Can't get enough.
Yeah, it's been great. Good time, baby.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we mini golf and go karts and
yeah. Shout out to Craig's Cruisers. Because we had a fucking blast go-karting. Holy moly. That was so great. And we played in an arcade.
Yeah, I got tons of tickets. I got a Vuvuzela. I had so many tickets, I got a Vuvuzela.
I had so many tickets that I got a bunch of candy.
Yeah, you got Fun Dip?
I got tons of Fun Dip, which is my favorite candy. I like Fun Dip so much that I kept a supply in my Volkswagen bus, in the glove box. I just had like, hey, you riding with me? You're getting some Fun Dip.
Dip yourself.
Yeah. Dip it and rip it. You ready?
Yeah,
ready?
Let's just pull up a little article.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Artie Boo.
Oh, God.
I think this is going to be a little heavy.
How much time you got? Holy
so we're just trying
cow.
to like kick back and relax and crank a couple episodes out and
History of Poland during the Piast Dynasty. I mean, geez, just the sidebar. We've got. This is so crazy.
Yeah, facts on facts on facts.
It's so much. I don't even know. I'm just gonna read the first paragraph and then
see where we're at from there.
The history of Poland during the Piast Dynasty is the first major stage in the history of Poland. The Piast period lasted from the 10th through the 14th century, when Poland established as a state and a nation during the Middle Ages of European history. The history of Poland commences with the founding of the Piast Dynasty, in parentheses, Siemowit, Listek, and Simosil were listed by the chronicler as its first dukes. That was all in parentheses. And the ruler of the proper founder of the Polish state, Mieszko I, from around 960 AD. The indigenous Piast ruling house was largely responsible for the formation of the state and remained in power until 1370. Mieszko chose to be baptized in the Western Latin Rite in 1966, which established a major cultural boundary in Europe. 966, which established a major cultural boundary in Europe. He completed the unification of the West Slavic tribal lands, fundamental to the existence of the new country of Poland.
Isn't it weird that we don't know nothing about Poland, but we know like a fair amount about the history of like England?
Yeah, but we were founded by, or we were colonies of England,
right?
So if we were colonies of Poland, it would be different.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah, because there's like, do you think they have like a King Arthur type legend, but for Poland?
I don't know.
You know.
Or do they just use the king, or is it just the King Arthur one, but in Polish?
Or like anything, like even America has like tall tales, like Paul Bunyan and people like that. Pecos Bill.
Oh yeah, that's funny because like other countries just wouldn't have that.
Well, they must have something,
right? But they don't.
But they wouldn't have Pecos
Paul
Bill.
Bunyan.
Yeah. So who knows how their rivers all got made?
That's so weird that like stupid old people were just like, yeah, big man, cut down trees. Like, it's.
Where all these apple trees come from, Grandpa?
Well, Johnny Appleseed.
Duh.
Yeah, like
one man walked across the entire country. And
idiot child.
Of course, Johnny Appleseed did.
Are apple trees even indigenous to the United States? I feel like they're an invasive species.
That's what's so miraculous about it. Johnny Appleseed came down from Canada.
They're indigenous to Canada. I feel like they're from like the Middle East, right?
Oh, I don't know. Well, they're ours now.
Are they a New World fruit or an Old World fruit? They're a New World. They're an Old World fruit.
Did you know horses weren't even over here? Like we brought horses over.
Horses are a New World fruit. I did know that. That's crazy.
It's
and now
weird.
there are wild horses that can't tear me away.
Mm-mm. Do you have a favorite tall tale?
I honestly don't know them that well. I like
How about I just run down some? And I'll give you a little synopsis.
I have one in my head that I think
John Henry.
Yeah, that's the one.
The
That's the one. Like
John Henry is just like
I'm gonna fucking build train tracks until I die. That's the most American thing ever.
Well, and he also did it beating.
No, I don't care. He just did it until he died. That's the part that sticks with me.
He's like the only, to my knowledge, the only black man in a tall tale.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was he a slave or a freed slave?
I believe he was just.
Or was he just a dude?
I think he's just a dude.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and he was. I feel like he was born with a hammer in his hand, which is awesome.
Wait. So, like, there was also a hammer inside the womb with him? Or
I don't
as
know.
soon as he came out, he was like, oh, hell yeah, and just, like, picked up a hammer?
Maybe it was that. But I feel like, a normal man just uses one sledgehammer at a time. He used one in both hands.
That's so fucking
It's
cool.
really cool, yeah. And he beat, like, what was the story was like, he starts on one side of a mountain, and then this, well-to-do gentleman who's like, I've got the best technology for making rails.
Yeah.
Was like on the other side of the mountain. They're like, well, let's just see who
Gets the middle first or
Right.
whatever.
John Henry won and died in the process.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's pretty cool that he put the gold stake in the Transcontinental Railroad.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's so cool that the first black man to do that. Then you got Pecos Bill, who is just like a cowboy who like rode a tornado.
That's pretty cool.
He's just like an awesome cowboy
Who rides a dang tornado.
Yeah. He tamed a horse called Widowmaker, who had like to that point killed like a dozen men. He's the only one to tame it.
Widowmaker is the coolest fucking name for anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name my blender Widowmaker.
I believe his lasso was a rattlesnake.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he married some woman. I don't remember what her name was, but her name was like, oh no, it was
Murderer Bethany.
No, it was something like that. Damn it. It was Calamity Jane.
Oh yeah.
How awesome is that?
Fuck. Calamity Jane is like,
it's like up there with Widowmaker.
it's like even cooler because Widowmaker, it's like, yeah, you're killing dudes.
Right.
Calamity Jane, who knows what the fuck she's doing?
She's getting
who
down.
knows? She's just straight wild.
Yeah, you never know what's going on. God, like, whose tornado is that parked out front? Oh shit, it's Pecos Bill and Calamity Jane.
Did she have like her own tornado? She rode.
I think she's like the equal of Pecos Bill in female form. I don't remember her myth or anything.
She rode Pecos Bill. She was like, you get off that goddamn cyclone.
Get over here.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Bunyan's like the most well known.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about him?
I don't even know his deal. He just had a big ass ox and
Yeah.
he cut down trees.
He was a huge lumberjack. I feel like
he was like 100 feet tall.
Yeah, I feel like he like cleared out the Northeast, and that's why we lived there first, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then his axe, like he was tired and drug his axe through the desert, and that's where the Grand Canyon came from. Like shit like that. Like what?
Who made those stories up? Like were those like
know.
cowboys and settlers and stuff?
It must have been, and then they just evolved over time, and then enough people agreed on some of the
That's so
facts,
weird.
and then here we are talking about them.
Are those are like the only three that I've heard of? Are those the only
and
three
then
that there are?
There are people who are real people who became bigger than life, like Paul, or not Paul Bunyan. What am I thinking of? Davy Crockett is a good one, and Daniel Boone are another.
Yeah.
Yeah, Davy Crockett is like what King of the Wild Frontier.
Yeah,
that's like his moniker. He
killed me a bear before he was 3.
It's cool as hell, dude. Yeah, I feel like he is the one that could like, someone threw up a quarter into the air and he like shot it through with a rifle without even like and he's like 10. Yeah, exactly. Like next.
Yeah. What about Daniel Boone? What's his deal?
Daniel Boone, I don't know. I think he's just like another like
a tracker.
Yeah, he's like a tracker frontiersman, but from 100 years later or whatever. And then he like defended the Alamo with like what's his name? David Bowie. Like there's like 3 or 4 guys at the Alamo who became sort of like legendary.
That's
just
pretty
because
cool.
they were at the Alamo, and
Man,
so cool.
Yeah, I wonder. What's I mean, there are a lot of other things about this that are a fucking shame.
Uh-huh.
But it's a shame that no like Indian tall tales or legends sort of made it into the
Into the
greater
school system.
the greater American.
Because certainly there must be.
100 that are probably so much cooler.
Yeah.
Like Firebirds and shit.
Oh yeah, like all kinds of like really interesting native folklore. I can't even. I can picture or I can come up with like some names of like famous, like like Sitting Bull or whatever, but like they weren't folktales. They were just dudes.
They're dudes who were like
just like like ran wild and fuck shit up and were the best. Killed. Was it Sitting Bull that killed like Custer and all those?
I honestly don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? Then
Yeah.
I like that story
that
because
sounds right. Actually,
Custer was like, "I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna kill everybody." And Sitting Bull was like, "Please don't." And he's like, "I'm doing it." And Sitting Bull was like, "God damn it! Oh, this is what you get."
It's pretty cool.
There was only one surviving member of the cavalry from that whole campaign. It was a horse. Yeah,
Widowmaker.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I know about
he was in cahoots with Sitting Bull. He's like, dude,
I got your back.
Yeah.
I know when I was like in grade school, we would learn, like we called them pourquoi tales, which was like, how did this happen? Like, why are there stars? And so a lot of those were like Native American, like, well, the
why
world
pourquoi? I mean, pourquoi is like French.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was weird. Like a whole bunch of different ones. So I was like, yeah, what's the world? Well, the world is a giant turtle.
Yeah.
And, like that kind of.
Or like, didn't Rudyard Kipling write the Just So stories, which is that?
That sounds right.
I feel like maybe I might be wrong about.
Were they like origin stories about like?
Yeah, it was like how the zebra got its stripes or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Right. I can't remember any of them at all. The only thing I can remember is Ricky Tikki Tavi, which is not one of those.
Yeah, not at all. That's also Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
I think. So he was killing it.
Yeah, he was, but
also he's like
huge racist.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you gonna do?
I mean, when you're British and it's like 1850 or whatever, like
you just were.
Yeah. Like he doesn't get a pass, but everyone was at the same time.
We would always do. I feel like every year we would do like a unit in school on like Native American history and Native American. Yeah, I guess just history. So I learned like the difference between an adobe and a teepee and a pueblo and.
Well, that's something.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably don't learn like anything actually.
No, and we learned about. That's about it, and all the different tribes, and there are like hundreds, probably thousands, right, of different tribes.
Probably. Yeah, I feel like we don't even learn about like Trail of Tears or anything like that. No. Like maybe you hear the phrase and that's about it. Like, yeah, Trail of Tears, it real sucks. Can't believe it happened. Anyway, Andrew Jackson, like, and even in Florida, because Florida,
everything in Florida is named after.
Yeah.
Well,
what's interesting is like that's where originally that was the place where we kicked all the Indians out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
From I was on the East Coast.
Sure.
And then it was like, oh, wait a minute.
We want to be here too.
Straight up, though. It was like, get out of our swamps. Go somewhere else. In the meantime, we'll name a couple schools after you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sweet.
How long do you think until Florida State changes their mascot?
Oh, the Florida State University?
Yeah.
Like, after we're dead.
You think?
Yeah, we'll never see it in our lifetime.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we can't even change the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, that's nuts. And they're just called the Seminoles, which is like... Yeah.
It's like, like it's not great, but,
It's certainly better than Redskins.
It's a step up, yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I mean, and they even, like... It's not their mascot, but there is a guy who's just, like, on the sidelines... Or he like starts every game or something like that.
Yeah, he's not the mascot, but he's
like a dude.
Yeah,
he's like whatever the chief Seminole guy.
Yeah,
rides out on his horse is like Palomino and has like the full regalia going on. Looks cool as hell, but I don't know if that's like the way you want to start your. I feel like this probably isn't true, but in my head he like starts the game by like riding out on his horse and throwing like a flaming spear into the ground.
That sounds like
I don't know why.
That sounds like something I've heard tame.
Okay, maybe we're thinking of something else, or maybe that's just what it is.
Yeah, or maybe it's just like Homecoming or something that he does that.
Yeah, right. It's once a year.
Man, is Groundhog's Day like not a tall tale, but it's like an American folklore thing?
Yeah, that could be lumped in there. Like,
it's weird that we still do it. Like, because guys, this is not a real thing.
Yeah, and why does it? I hate like things that are what do you call that sort of? What do you call that? Like a well, we do it every year. Like a tradition.
Yeah,
I hate traditions for tradition's sake. It's like, why are we actually doing this?
Yeah,
You know, like Macy's Day Parade, that makes sense. It's like a big deal. Like kids get candy.
Yeah. It's just like it's like
a big celebration of Thanksgiving and whatever.
Groundhog Day feels
Day?
like
what are we doing?
It's just a chore for everyone, and it's like, well, also it doesn't matter in the end because weather is weather. And
right. It actually doesn't do anything.
How often?
And what is Puxatawny? Like, what is that place?
Who knows? Who knows? And how do they choose which groundhog? Are they sure that it's always Puxatawny Phil every time?
Maybe it's his son. What the fuck? You get off of me.
I'm Puxatawny Dave. Fuck off.
Not even from here. From next town over.
Yeah. I would be interested to see a graph of like what the Groundhog Day prediction was compared to the actual weather. Because actually, what if it's like kind of accurate? Because animals know shit, you know.
Yeah, but I think the way they do it is like the mayor is wearing a top hat and has like a sash.
Yeah, for sure.
He, like,
a sash that says mayor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like he
bends down, like knocks on a door.
Puxatawny Phil.
Like, what say you? And every year he probably runs away. He's like, God damn it, all these cameras and shit. I don't want to talk to you, mayor.
Just leave me alone, man.
Deb, get the door. It's the mayor.
I'm trying to read the paper. I'd like to see, like, I'm sure that there are traditions that have died away. Like, I can picture in my head, like, people in the 50s celebrating things like, oh, it's Armistice Day. And, like,
yeah, sure.
Like, National, Veterans Safety Awareness Week. That's not. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I could see kids, like, celebrating, like, really American holidays that have died off.
How long do you think until, like, 9/11 is a holiday?
I'm
not
a
holiday,
it
but
hasn't
like
started.
I mean, I guess a holiday, but not a happy holiday, but like a...
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't even get damn...
Pearl Harbor Day?
Yeah, so I mean, if that never happened... I mean,
yeah,
this is bigger,
crazy.
I think. I think this is bigger. Is it bigger?
It is the largest loss of life on American soil. That's for sure.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I remember being like, oh, we'll get this day off of school forever. When I was in 6th grade, I thought that. And
we didn't even get that.
Not at all. Yeah, what are some... Is it possible that we'll see new holidays get introduced? Well, for voting...
Oh,
voting could be a holiday.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, it's not a holiday, but it's a tradition, and I think we've talked about it on the podcast before. But Elf on the Shelf.
That started after we were out.
That's
of school,
like not even 10 years old.
Yeah, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, that was just some smart person who wrote a book, and they were like, "I'm gonna sell these damn toys," and they did. And then
to the point where now there's like pets for the elf.
And like clothes and people are constantly, every Christmas, anyone that I know with kids, they're constantly posting pictures because like all of December the elf like gets into, he's like wily and gets into stuff.
Right. So you like make a little like what do you even call it, like pastiches or
like dioramas.
Yeah,
or
like dioramas.
It's like,
oh,
he got into the ketchup and like wrote a message or whatever.
Like be good.
Yeah,
in ketchup. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a little leprechaun. You're like, oh, he left potatoes around and his green footprints are on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's so weird. And it's not something that evolved from anything. It's just like someone wrote a book and wanted to sell toys.
And it worked.
And it just worked. It's crazy.
It kind of reminds me, this isn't not the same thing exactly, but Flat Stanley. Do you remember that?
Oh, you know what? Someone at work actually just sent an email to everyone and was like, hey, my nephew is doing like Flat Stanley, and this is like, I thought you guys might be interested and in what we did because I took him to work.
I don't even really know what it does.
Kids will do Flat Stanley, and it's just like a printout of a dude.
Right.
And then they just mail it to someone. But he actually did a bunch of really cool stuff. He like, Flat Stanley got in the copier and he made a copy of himself. So then he printed out like another, and his name was like
Flat Stanley.
Yeah, something like that. And he just like had them do all different stuff because for like a 2nd grader or whatever, that'd be like awesome to see all this crazy stuff. It was fun.
What is the thing where like you print it out and you mail it to your dad because he's in Iraq?
Is that a thing?
Or maybe it's the other way around.
What are you talking about?
No, maybe it's the other way around. Like, my dad's in Iraq, so I have this like cardboard cutout of my dad. Or
that is not a thing. That's insane.
Yeah, it's like Flat Stanley, but for like dads who are in the military. Like you like
Flat Daddies.
Yeah, it might be that. It might be called Flat Daddies. And then they just like hang out, and you keep them at your breakfast table, and you're like, oh, it's my flat daddy. My real daddy's in Iraq, so this is my flat daddy.
That's not real.
Yeah, and then it says if you call your apartment your flat, that's even double meaning. That's like
it's my flat daddy.
My flat daddy. Real daddy's in Iraq. Flat daddy tucks me in. I play catch my flat daddy.
But then when your real dad gets home, it's like, you're not my flat daddy. I don't have to listen to you.
Flat daddy would never yell at me.
Flat daddy lets me play PlayStation all night. Go back to Iraq.
Slams the door. Dad's just sitting there. Realizes he's right.
Goes back to
Iraq for another tour.
Thank you, flat daddy. I love you.
Smell you later.
How did we start doing that?
Singers?
Yeah.
Why or how?
How? Both.
We just always did.
Not from the very first episode, did we?
Didn't we? I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
Interesting. Did we talk about it, or did I just surprise you?
No, I think we just knew that we're fucking awesome.
That's probably it.
Oh, it's funny to like have a little extra thing at the end.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you for playing Arcade Audio. Play more at arcadeaudio.net.